Well, hello there. It's Priscilla Batzell in Spring Hill, Florida at Expressionist Art Studio Gallery. And I'm kind of trying to just chill because it's been a couple of weird days. Some stuff has been happening. Tends to make me wonder if Mercury's retrograde. Sorry, I don't want to insinuate that onto somebody, but it's not necessarily a good thing when that's going on. So my music is off and I have my dustpan. And I want to do a repeat of the colors that I did recently. And that worked out well for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some color in the bottom of this dustpan without any silicone. And just keep adding the colors that I want in there. And then when I get that done, I'll put it to the side. And we will cover the 16 by 20 canvas that we're working on right now with white paint. And I will introduce you, if you are unfamiliar, to my OXO Good Grips omelet turning spatula that evidently they're not offering to the people in Great Britain anymore, which kind of stinks. I wish they would, because I got a bunch of friends in Great Britain. Anyway, so I'm just sort of trying to be low-key today. I'm working on it. I'm going to try and float some of that on top because we're going to be pouring it off. Now, if I do a less is more thing, yeah, right. I'd like to just let the paint colors that I have here sort of be spread and drift across the surface of this canvas. This is the color I was really enjoying yesterday. Maybe it was the day before. The days, they are kind of blending together at the moment. That's what you get without a conventional job and too much work all the time. I think I like that. And I like it very much with this. And even though that's not looking as sparky as I'd like it to, I think we can work with it. Because I can always use my medical tubing, assuming it's right here somewhere. Do I see it? No. No, I don't. Yes, I do. Cool. We have tubing. We are a go. Yes. So if I put down a lot of colors and I need to use the tubing to blow some furrows in it to expose colors underneath, that's what's going to happen. I'm very tempted by something rogue. Whoops. And I think that's going to be this. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's not bothering me. Okay, and I like it, but I missed my gold, and I didn't put any more white in there. At the rate I'm going, I'm going to have more paint than I know what to do with again. But maybe I can put it off into a small, I have these restaurant cups that I save everywhere I go. Clean them, keep the tops. They keep paint magnificently well. And this is really pretty, and I did not stop myself when I thought I would. But I don't really care right now because I'll just do what I want because I can and because I need to. And I'm going to take that paint and put it somewhere a little bit less in my way. And I'm going to wish I'd just taken the top off that. But what I'm finding, which I knew already, is that when you have a nice wet canvas and you add paint to it, even without any silicone, if you're using my recipe, in the description under every video, by the way, my paint recipe is easily found, along with some mention of the colors that I use and the brands I use. Anyway, so it makes cells pop a lot of times. Anytime you're agitating the paint with Floetrol in the mix, and my mix is well more than 50% most of the time, because anytime my paint thickens up, I just add a little Floetrol, honestly. Anybody who wants to go by exact measurements, I'm not your girl. It's just not happening. That's not the way it goes here. I know in the beginning when I was doing this, starting a year ago, people were weighing things on scales, and I'm just, that's not the kind of thing I weigh on a scale. Paint is something that's come naturally to me my whole life, and not everybody has that ability, I understand. But we're all very adaptable, so a little practice goes a long way. I've done literally hundreds of paintings, and if you do exactly what I do, when you like something that you see that I do, you have a pretty good shot at doing something similar. But it's always comes down to a certain willingness to practice your art form, whatever that might be. Okay, so not much paint on my spatula, nice and spread. I've chatted you guys up enough. I am going to go for it. I want some yellow in there, I can't help it. And that yellow makes me want orange. And we're just going for the basic rainbow effect again. And that's not bothering me because as I pour that dustpan out onto my canvas, which I'm really tempted to just grab my scoop and scoop out of my dustpan. If you can find one of these, grab it because they make great ribbon pours. I'm going to start by moving that and those out of my way, hopefully without dumping anything. I want to start in the middle, even though I didn't think I did a moment ago. And I want to tip some to see where this all goes. I'm going to save some of that back, I guess. Yeah, we're going to save some back because I can always add more color. I've been using edge catchers and being asked about edge catchers a lot lately. If this turns out to be simple and fast, that's okay. This 1001, 1002 is my heavy plastic edge catcher that is the cut piece of a Michaels 16 by 20 canvas bulk pack. They come protecting the front. You know what? I really want to just take the torch to that and see what we pop, if anything, before I go any further. And I got paint dripping. Paint dripping off my dollar store dustpan over there. I'm loving that purple and I really would prefer not to lose it, and by putting it in the middle I sort of asked for trouble in that regard. But let me take my edge catcher and bring it down into position and hold my hand on the inside of the canvas where I haven't painted the sides for a reason. That reason is because it makes it a lot easier to hold on. And also when the paint gets squeezed back, it covers that edge. Now the big trick about all of that is not to put your edge catcher back onto an area that you don't want color on. That is really cool. I'm liking that. So I said something earlier about grabbing some color out of here, and I think I wish I had left the caps off, but I have a wonderful purple color right there, and I'm just going to put a bunch of that in there. And then, hoping that you can see everything, I'm going to grab some of that right there. And dribble her up. I'm liking that gold there. I wasn't really intending on doing that too much more of that. Ooh, the sun is coming out. That could be extremely helpful to us. My husband was right. I did need to come out and paint. So this is going to go right down there. And even though some of it's going to come off, the rest is going to go back. And if I want, and I can always, as long as I don't have a lot of paint on my fingers, schmutz. Let's see if I've got a clean spot. Pick a clean spot whenever possible. I'm just going to let all of that run right down there because I like those colors. And even though it's pooling and I'm squeezing it back, and I'm going to squeeze it back more than once because there's quite a bit of paint there, and it creates a pattern, which is pretty cool at this point. I am not super adverse to keeping a bunch of things I don't... Alright, so, yeah, I know, I cut myself off. Never mind. So I can take my Princeton... Why do I never remember that word? My Princeton spatulas, and I can just dip it in my mix wherever I want and add a little paint here or there. And I'm going to show you a primary example of that right now. I'm just going to see what we get. We got a drip someplace I didn't really want one. But we got some beautiful colors, and they're kind of fun. Too fun not to play with. Looks like some kind of weird hat. So, what I think is because paint flows to paint. I think I'm going to put one thing down out of my hand so I have a hand to actually use. Now I tend to want to not waste any paint, so what I do is I just stick my spatula right into whatever tool I'm using to pour paint out of. That's going in the bucket. Oh, and that reminds me, if you guys are rinsing your paint tools in your sink or pouring your paint buckets down the toilet, don't do that because the paint builds up wicked. And then I'm going to swipe that. And then it gets in your pipes, and then all the plumbing in your house needs to be replaced eventually because it coats things even through water. I am going to take advantage of the fact that I have colors that I like. I'm going to pull my wet rag. Always good to have some nice cotton wet rags handy if you're going to use a spatula. We've got 8 minutes left. We're doing all right. And if you don't like paint color, like I didn't like that bunch of grayish mass back there, then you can always put something on top of it. You're not stuck with anything. I think I'm going to grab my edge catcher again. You know what? Maybe not. Let's see. I am thinking that I have some of that wonderful red-orange color, and I like it so much that I want to see what it looks like right up here, because I did a really small but beautiful painting recently, an 9 by 12, and I really liked the effect that I got with it. Hopefully I like the effect similarly with this one. I'm going to use my fingers and whatever's on the spatula and just let it fall right over. And that is not a done area by any stretch of the imagination. I'm going to put a fair puddle right there. And then I'm going to tip that sucker. I'm not getting the cells I was expecting, but that's kind of okay right now because we're only part way through this. And I'm wondering what's going to happen. Not my favorite colors so far, but it's becoming something different as we work. I don't mind having a little paint on there because as the whatever's on the spatula mixes with everything else, it changes it up. And I have not used very much of my paint. Yep. Maybe I used more than I thought. Anyway, so I am kind of playing these days. I've been thinking about it for a long time. I've wanted to take the spatulas, the little ones, and just use them as swipe tools and see what happens. And I'm still having a good time. That's kind of cool, but it doesn't make me want to just leave it alone. I kind of want to do some other stuff. I do. We'll give it a little tip. See what's happening here. Okay, well, I'm back to edge catcher land, and I'm gonna, ooh, I see those nice cells down at the bottom where I used the spatula. That's cool. And I'm going to stop paint from running away too far and use the pooling paint, hopefully without dropping that edge catcher back onto my pattern. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah. I'm going to squeeze it again because there's even more paint up there that wants to come back. And release. And because I like that up there, I am thinking we ought to go ahead and allow a few more interesting things to come about by adding them. If they're not there and I want them there, I'm going to add them. And I'm loving that color. So I'm just going to do that right there. I'm going to pick the side of the spatula that has the most amicable color to the color I'm about to swipe. I love those white cells. I wonder if I can get some more of those over here. I bet, as I interrupt that wet white base coat underneath, that I can. Now, I've been playing with making furrows in the paint and letting it fill in. As long as it's wet, it seems to work okay. But I was using the blade, the flat blade, and I think it's better to use the edge, to tell you the truth. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, and we got 5 minutes for me to figure it out, or we're going on to another one. And I have had a lot of trouble with overheating, but we're out here at 6 o'clock at night right now, and it really shouldn't be as big of an issue. That's pretty much what I wanted. And that's making me happy too. Hopefully you can see all that. It's a little different. I really just want to drag some stuff all over the place, to be honest with you. I haven't quite got what I wanted yet, and I don't see it happening right now. And for me, adding black or gold or something like that is sometimes an answer. We don't have much red. Everywhere I agitate the paint, I'm not unlikely to get cells. That's pretty neat. Doesn't feel done yet. And this thing down here is kind of bugging me, and I don't know what to do about that. I figure we got a dustpan with paint in it for a reason, and there's some nice black stuff coming out of there. Some darker stuff. And let's do some left-handed artwork. That was bad. I just scraped some paint right onto my table. Okay. Well, I don't know what I'm getting so far, but I kind of like it better than I did a minute ago. I don't mind the colors too much. And I definitely didn't mind breaking up this area down here, which was very distracting to my eye. And now it's more so. Still kind of fun though. I suppose I have the option of adding some white inside there, which might not be such a bad idea. But I was excited to use the color combination of this folk art color shift green gold with the blue recently. Looks like I need some more paint. And my white paint background is beginning to dry. I'm going to take what's on my spatula, scrape it off, and try and use it on my edge. Maybe I'll be lucky. Now, if I had some freezer paper out here, and I do, but it doesn't tear very easily, these are the most pathetic boxes in the world, I could pour some paint onto it, and that would be okay with me. Let's get that edge catcher right out of there. The edge catcher's looking better than the painting is right now. Okay, so I am going to take my freezer, well, I was going to take my freezer paper and I am going to hold it down, and I am going to do what I've been doing a lot lately. I'm pouring some stuff off because I can, because I love the colors, and I have no inclination to waste anything. And it looks a lot like other things I've dealt with before. Let's use a finger. Get rid of that gorgeous paint under the freezer paper. Put the painting down carefully and gently. That's our timer saying we're done. So, I don't know if we're done or not.